What's up, Speedy's Garage gang? Welcome back to Speedy's Garage. This week we're going to take a brief break from the shop build series and talk about something a little bit different. I've kind of wanted to start sharing some of the tools that I like to use with you guys, and I have been struggling, and you've heard me say in some of my videos, I like a very sharp pocket knife. You've heard me mention that before. I want it typically to where it'll practically shave you. I have to use these at work often to open boxes and whatnot, and just general use. And so I like my pocket knife to be extremely sharp, and I had been using those little fork sharpeners for several years, and they just didn't get it as sharp as I wanted it to be. And I tried carbide, I tried the diamond ones, tried a couple of other different types, and they all claim they got the angle set up for you. You put it on a table or whatever, and you'd rake it across those two rods. And I never really got the results I was looking for, and I didn't want to have to spend a lot of time figuring out how to use a whetstone. I know some people who are big into knives, and I think it's called metallurgy, are into those, and they don't mind spending a lot of time learning how to get that angle just right. And they make little tools and stuff that'll hold the blade, on the stone and give you that ability with some oil to get the knife extremely sharp. But I wanted to do it, want to be able to sharpen them very quickly and very easily, and so I went and found a tool that would help me do that. And what I found is this Work Sharp outdoor sharpener, and this one is the WSKTS. It is a electric sharpener that is belt driven, and you can put different grit of belt on the tool, and it'll get the knife sharper and sharper depending on which belt you use. I did test it, and it works extremely well, so I thought I would share it with you guys and show you how it works. Okay, so what comes in the box? Take a look at that. You obviously get the sharpener. That's what it looks like. You get some guides, and they slide on, and they automatically set the angle for you, which is nice. It kind of makes it idiot proof. You get another guide. So this one's for kitchen knives, and it's set to 20 degrees on each angle, which gives you 40 degrees total on the blade. And that's for kitchen knives and fillet knives. And then you get this other guide, and it's got, 50 degrees, and this would be like your pocket knife, your hunting knife. It's got a 65-degree wedge there for scissors, and it can even sharpen serrated knives. And that was something I always wondered how you did. I thought you had to use one of those little pipe-shaped sharpeners to do that. It was actually much simpler than I thought it would be, and I'll show you that in a second. But you get the second guide here. You get a little bag of the belts. You get some paperwork, instructions, and they actually, teach you the anatomy of a knife, tell you some tips and tricks on how to sharpen different items, and even at the end, how to sharpen some tools with just the tool without a guide on it at all. You can sharpen lawnmower blades and stuff like that. We're going to focus on knives tonight. You get a registration card, tell you about some of their other products that they have. And I thought this was cool. In the back of the box is actually a quick start guide, and it tells you, what are you sharpening, and then what kind of blade is it, tells you what guide to use, and then gives you the number of strokes that you're going to go across the belt and which belt to use. So all in all, pretty cool. And for purposes of this tool review, we're going to focus primarily on the red belt, which is 220, and the purple belt, which is 6,000. Now, the documentation that comes with the sharpener says when you're using it to sharpen kitchen knives, which again is a reminder, it's the 20 degree on each side angle, which is 40 degrees total for the blade. Coming down one side and up the other, it would make a 40-degree angle. Using the red belt gets it what they call tomato sharp. And what that means is it will slice through a tomato without denting the skin or tearing the skin. It'll just slice right through the tomato. If you want to go a little bit sharper, use the purple belt, which they're calling a honing belt. It's 6,000 grit, and when you hone that blade, it'll take it from tomato sharp to literally shave your arm sharp. Now, when I first got it, I was testing it out. I was curious how sharp it could actually get a kitchen knife, and I ran the red belt on the tool, tested on a tomato. It worked exactly as described. And then I went ahead and on the steak knives, I used the honing belt and used that on the steak knives, and they would literally shave hair off my arm. I'm not going to do that again because Mrs. Speedy, she said that was actually getting the knives too sharp, and she was afraid a guest might come over and have an accident or something with one of our steak knives. So I'm just going to stick with the red belt on anything that's going to be used in the kitchen. Now, for my pocket knives and whatnot, things like that, I am going to go ahead and hone them because I like them to be extremely sharp, and I'm the only one using it typically. And if I hand it to somebody, I'll just warn them, hey, it's super sharp. Don't cut yourself. I'm not responsible. So anyway, we're going to go with the red belt only on kitchen, and then we're going to hone any pocket knives. Okay, so to get set up, the first thing you do is you push down on the little wheel here, hold this close so you can see it, and you turn it a quarter of a turn, and it locks into place. pick your belt of choice and you feed it into the guide here, like that. Very, very easy. And then you push back down and that puts the tension on the belt. And then use the little red dial and it'll move the pulley back and forth, or the roller, to keep the belt centered on the roller there. So we'll do that in a second. We're gonna go ahead and install the belt guide. And on this one, we're not gonna do any kitchen knives tonight. We're gonna focus on some pocket knives. So I'm using the outdoor belt guide, or knife guide rather. And it just literally slides over, and that's it. So now here's your 25-degree angle. You can see that there, and you put the blade in, you just drag it across, and there's a trigger on the bottom. There's 2 speeds. So that's off. You got slow and fast, obviously. And fast is push momentary. Very neat, like that. And then literally all you do is set it in the angle flat against the back side, and you just rake it across. Now this blade has that, I think it's called a tonneau blade maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, leave me a comment below. I could go Google that, but I'm not gonna do it right now. But you see how it has that angle on it? So I'm gonna have to be a little more careful sharpening this knife than one that was just curved, because I could, if it was just curved, just pull it through nice and gentle. But because it has that edge on it, I'm gonna have to come back and then turn and come back very deliberately. So that's how we're gonna get it done. Another nice thing is it actually has these nylon, and they're soft nylon. They may even be rubber, I don't know, but they're white, so I thought they were nylon, but they're very sticky feet. So the tool won't move around when you've got it on your work surface, and it keeps your hand nice and far away from where the blades are. So I really like that as well. Now we're gonna get to work sharpening some knives. And the only thing you really have to be careful of is make sure you have the blades straight up and down, just like that, because the holder actually puts the angle, or the knife guide actually puts the angle on the blade. And so you wanna make sure you keep it right up against this side, and you do it on each side. So it does each side of the blade to put that angle on the blade, a 50-degree angle for pocket knives, like I said. And so you wanna make sure you got it right against that, and then just very gently, you pull it back. And on this one, we're gonna turn, come straight back like that. And as you get to the tip of the blade, you wanna just let the machine keep turning. Don't wanna stop it before the blade exits the belt. So make sure that it comes right off the end like that, and that'll keep the blade nice and true. All right, we're gonna start with this.
Whoops.
What happened? Messing up my audio again? Huh? All right, we're gonna start with this one, and I'm gonna show you it's pretty dull. Won't really cut the paper. So that's obviously dull. So when we get done, it'll go right through that like nothing. Okay, so this is how you set the belt to get it centered on the pulley, like I mentioned before. Turn the red knob until it's lined up right in the center. And I lied, I said it was 2 speeds. It's actually auto or micro switch. It actually runs at the same speed for both. Hopefully you can see the edge it starts to put on the blade there. Now I've used this sharpener on this knife before, and it says after you've used it once, it only takes a couple of passes on the red belt to get it sharp again. If it's the first time you've ever used this tool to sharpen a knife, it recommends 10 passes. But we've already used it before, so we're just gonna do the 2. And you wanna let go of the trigger right as the tip starts to come across the belt. So now we're gonna do the other side. Feels pretty sharp. Now remember, this is called rope cutting sharp when you use the red belt and the outdoor knife guide. Rope cutting sharp is what they call it. Okay, so remember before it wouldn't hardly cut the paper at all. This is only rope cutting sharp. We haven't even honed it yet. See how it does. Big, big difference. We haven't even honed this blade yet. So 2 passes on the red belt and it's pretty sharp, but won't shave you. And I want this to be shave sharp. So we're gonna try the honing belt next and see how we do. And we're just gonna quickly change out the belt. It's the same process. Just lock the wheel down, quarter turn. We're gonna put the purple belt on the tool. Check it for straightness. And again, it's just because I've used this sharpener on this knife before, it's just a couple of passes on the honing belt. That's all it should take. So let's see how we make out. That feels very sharp. Now let's see what it does with the paper. Wow. And will it shave your arm? There you go. Shave sharp. So that is razor sharp now. And you saw how easy it actually was. Very cool. Very nice tool if you like a sharp knife. What about those serrated knives? Now this is a kitchen knife. It's the only one I had that's serrated. Not real wild about these in a pocket knife, but one of our kitchen knives happened to be. And you'll notice one side is serrated, the other side's flat. Hopefully you can see that. And so basically all you have to do is sharpen the flat side and it sharpens the knife. And you'll notice on the tool, it's got a section down here that says serrated knives. And it's right below your angle for your outdoor knife. And all you do is make sure it's on the downhill side of the sharpener, which means the belt's turning away from the blade, so it's not coming up against it and wanting to cut the belt. You hold the knife perpendicular to your work surface and you just run it across the belt using that section as your guide. And let's say an 8-inch knife, this one's, let's see, this one's about 6. It says an 8-inch blade should take about 2 seconds. So let's try it out. Feels pretty good. Let's see how it does on the paper. There you go. Nice and sharp. That's how you sharpen a serrated blade with this Work Sharp tool sharpener. What about scissors? Now, scissors usually stay pretty sharp, but I've been bad about using them to cut things in the shop that they probably shouldn't be used to cut, and they get, you know, little burred edges and whatnot. If they're really damaged, use the red belt. But if they're in pretty good shape, which these are, you can use the purple belt. And again, on the outdoor guide, you'll see there's a spot for scissors. There's actually a magnet built into that, which helps keep them in the right place. Open them up like this. Go all the way to the hinge. Make sure we got coverage. Yep, we're good there. Same process. Same thing for the other side. See how it does. Feel pretty sharp to me. So it'll do scissors as well. And I just got one of these. And I've wanted one of these for a while. It's pretty cool. Comes in this. And there it is. It's a Tecto Amber is what it's called. It was a reasonably priced automatic. Very, very cool. I've wanted one of these for a while, kind of a novelty thing. And I guess for maybe obvious reasons, this is probably the dullest knife I have ever received out of the box. But because it's an automatic, they were probably a little bit worried. Now it's got a nice tip on it, but it is very, very dull. I bet it won't even do anything with this paper. Yeah, it won't even. It is the dullest, like I said, it is so dull it's not even funny. So we're gonna put that on the sharpener, see what we can do with it. Now, because it is an automatic knife, I wanna be a little bit, you know, reasonable. I'm probably not gonna take it to shaving sharp because that might not be a good idea. So I'm gonna get it what they call rope cutting sharp and see how it does. Now, a lot of people say, hey, wait a minute, you know, it's got a carrier here. Now obviously this kind of knife, they want you to put it on a belt or something. You know, it's got a case or on a military, you know, vest or something like that, so you can get it to it like that. It's also got a pocket clip on it. You might be worried about, you know, that going off in your pocket, and I was, so I tested it. So check this out. Pretty crazy. It actually, if it hits anything, it didn't even put hardly a nick in that cardboard. If it hits anything, it just kind of goes loose like that, and you have to pull it up and lock it into position and then reset it. So pretty cool little knife, Tecto Amber. So let's see if we can get it sharp. Okay, this blade was extremely dull, so it did take a little bit of work, but I think we got it. See how we did. So this is a double edge, so we did both. I'd say that's sharp enough for a knife like this. And this is what they call rope cutting sharp. And I didn't take it to razor sharp because, again, it's an automatic and I just don't know if that's a great idea. That's sharp enough for what I'm going to use it for, so good to go. Okay, so all in all, a very nice tool. They're very proud of the fact that it is made in the USA. I did call them and ask a couple of questions, and I did get a United States person on the phone very quickly, and they answered a couple of my questions, and so kudos to them for that. You get 2 belts of each type. You get 2 red belts, you get 2 purple belts, and you get 2 green belts. What I will tell you is they do not last forever. I have probably sharpened, obviously the honing belts, the purple belts are going to last the least amount of time. The red belts will be next. The green belts might last a while. I haven't used those yet, so I can't say. But the honing belts, I guess I've probably sharpened about 20 knives now with this setup. And the first red belt is just starting to get to where it starts to feel smooth and is getting to its end of life. So I'm going to start using the second belt now. On the honing belts, I've got one that's completely used up and one that's probably about 50%. Again, I've done about 20 knives. So keep that in mind when you're ordering belts and whatnot. Now you can order extra belts separately from the tool, obviously, and you can get these pretty easily, and I think they're about $10 a pack. And I'll have to go look. I can't remember if you can just order purple belts or just order red belts. I'm not sure. Or just order green if you're interested in that. I can't remember. I think they all come kind of as a group like that, but I'll go check and see. And then the other thing to be aware of is, especially if you have very dull knives that you're really going after, or if you're doing a whole bunch, it does generate some dust. So keep that in mind if you're going to sharpen these in your kitchen or something. So keep in mind we basically touched up one knife and we completely sharpened another. Quite a bit of dust involved there. So keep that in mind when you're looking at where you're actually going to sharpen your knives using that tool. It does work very quickly and easily, as you saw. If you're curious what I think about the Amber from Tecto, so far so good. For the money, it's actually a very nice knife. It's got a window breaker on one end. I already mentioned the clip. It has a nice weight to it. The action is very solid, and the blade doesn't wiggle much, if at all. Just very, very little. Probably see that there, that it moves around. And you're going to have some of that with just about any automatic type knife like this, but that is not much at all, and it definitely doesn't make any noises when you move it around. So that's really good. So really happy with that as well. Always wanted one of these. Are you still with me, camera guy? So what do we think about the Work Sharp knife sharpener? In my opinion, it gets a 9 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. The only thing I think they could improve on it, and I'm just picking on it literally, is the sound. It's a little bit noisy, and you should probably expect that from a knife sharpener, but because I wanted to find something to say they might could improve, I'm going to say it could be just a touch quieter. It's made in the USA. You can see right there, I mentioned that before, Ashland, Oregon. And when I called them, third ring, I had a US-based person on the phone to answer the couple of small questions that I had. And so very, very, very easy to use, which is really what I was looking for. I wanted something fast and easy, and this does both. It probably took me, I'm gonna say 2 minutes, maybe 2. to get this razor sharp, and I had used it before, so it was just a touch up. And then for our amber, it took probably 5 minutes, maybe 6, because I had to literally start from scratch and put a new edge on this knife. It was so dull out of the box, but it got both jobs done very quickly and very easily. I hope you enjoyed the video and the tool review. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. That really helps this channel grow. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. It's @Speedys_garage, as well as our website, www.speedysgarage.net. I will be doing some further tool review in the future, but next week we're getting back on the shop build, so be sure to tune in. I will be seeing you out there.